a lot of people want people to gravitate towards them. In order to do that, the easiest way is to be authentic because the right people will come your way and the wrong people will stay away. We get to where we're going. We do not have to be this super fast car that's super fancy that has all the bells and whistles. Branding, a lot of people think is like a logo or um, you know, pictures or like that kind of thing. It's not. Branding are your values, who you are, and carrying yourself as a person.
Hey there, I'm Kaylin Wood, and this is Money Matters for Moms, the show where busy moms turn overwhelm into abundance. Each week, we'll talk side hustles, saving hacks, wealth tips, and some energy tips to help make it all stick. Real tools for real financial freedom. No ramen required. Hi, I'm Kaylin Wood, Holistic Finance Coach. I help busy moms make friends with their money so they can live an abundant life now and save for a beautiful future. I'm talking with Miranda Taylor today. She's the founder of Charm and Strategy Consulting. She empowers others through authentic branding, so she helps clients grow their businesses by embracing their true selves. Miranda, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Absolutely. So you're a branding expert. So how did you get into that business?
Well, long story short, or long story long, as we like to say, is basically I've been in marketing for a very long time. I worked for a big technology company for a very long time, and I worked with small business owners for a very long time. And so I've always had branding at the forefront of my head and my life. And once I decided to step away from like corporate America, like working for the man, and decided to be on my own, one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received was everybody needs to know who you are, and everybody needs to know who you are. And me, because I'm like, okay, marketing is a big deal to me. How am I going to make those choices and help brand myself? And I wear green every day. I know I have a white shirt on, but I am definitely wearing green pants. Um, I decided to make a choice and pick a color, and I chose green. And branding, a lot of people think is like a logo or um, you know, pictures or like that kind of thing. It's not. Branding are your values, who you are, and carrying yourself as a person. Branding through authenticity and like that kind of thing. So I decided to pick green and I decided to brand myself authentically. When I did this, I girl bossed a little bit too hard and got impaled on a star because I went from basically not knowing anyone to everybody and their mother in my area, like localized branding, right? Knowing who I was because I was entering into the real estate world. And I took that and I'm like, I can help other people do this too. And it doesn't have to be as crazy as committing to one color every single day. You don't have to do that. I did that for a very empowering purpose, but you don't have to do that. You can pick all sorts of things like following your values, making sure you're working with the correct people. And that's kind of how I stumbled into it. It's just I did it for myself. And then because I had the background, because I worked for a big technology company, because I worked with a lot of small businesses, I saw the need for that. And I'm like, I got information on this. I can help people with this. And I started doing lots of stuff just for people because I could, not necessarily for money or any of that. I have this saying that green follows green, meaning heart follows heart. Green is your heart chakra, if you didn't know. Um, and because of that, I wanted to help other people be successful. And every time one of my clients is successful or somebody around me is successful, I feel like it's a win. And that's kind of how I stumbled into it. And it is an authentic part of who I am. And I continue to get to do that every day, which is really awesome.
I guess I'm still a little confused about personal branding in terms of obviously if you're talking about a color, if you are someone who wears glasses, as you know, since
Mm-hmm.
you and I
Mm-hmm.
both do, then having your glasses represent you. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I like to think of myself as an amusing person. My kids sometimes don't agree. But so I build a little bit of humor into
Mhm.
my brand. But how can working with people who you enjoy or following your business ethics or how do those things work into your personal brand?
Words mean something, but so do actions. And one of the most important parts of my brand is that I stay true to myself, that I'm authentically me, that I work for the things that I want to. And serving people is at the heart of everything that I do. I personally believe my branding purpose, right? The reason I am here is I'm supposed to give people tools to get to places that they never dreamed of going. And when I give them these tools, they're able to build bridges to all sorts of things, right? That's part of my brand. And everything I do, I make sure that I'm authentically showing up that way. And I don't do things that don't fit my needs. I don't drive a Mercedes. I don't drive an expensive car because that is not part of my brand. Part of my brand is being authentically me, understanding that I have a very good relationship with money and that's a utility. So part of my branding isn't going and buying a Ferrari or buying an expensive car or being something I'm not. I grew up a certain way. And while I'm not in that space anymore, I always want to give that honor. So that's in my brand. The color green. The first time I ever felt powerful, I was wearing green. I was in a really awful relationship, and that relationship became violent, abusive, and controlling. And he never let me wear green because I'm a little bit of a redhead, and that would make me too pretty to be out in public. The day that I broke up with that person and ended the relationship forever was the first time I wore green in years. And that is where that color comes from. And that is part of my branding. I help women of all shapes, sizes, colors, all the things get to places where they want to go. And because of that, I hold that color green to a high standard, and that's part of my brand. The glasses are part of my brand because I'm blinded in a bat on Tuesday. And because of that, everybody notices my green glasses, and I wear fun ones. I have all sorts of different glasses. I think I was wearing probably this pair the other day. And they remember me off that. And it's memorable because I always tell my little story behind every single thing I do. When I meet with people, right? When you're talking about branding and talking about your values and talking about your story, you give them a card, right? Well, in your branding or your values or your core should be on your card. So when I give out my card, I have this little saying on it. It says, "You are strong, you are brave, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are intelligent, you are driven, you are enough." Because that is my credo. And so when I meet with somebody and I talk to them, they always get this little affirmation card with them every day. I know people who still have my card in the back of their wallet, all those sorts of things, because this is what you should be telling yourself every day. That's part of my brand. Learning to love yourself again, building up your worth, understanding what your worth is. And I'm authentic about it. I talk about it constantly. And I'm authentically me. I do not hide who I am. I do not try to be somebody different. Um, I won't cuss on here just because you got to know your audience, but I do say naughty words. I do show up authentically. I do talk the way that I do because I think it's so important that everybody understands what I'm saying. And I don't try to use bigger words than I am. I don't try to use the word we when it's really me. I think that that is so important with your branding because when you show up that way, everyone will know who you are and they will know who you are. And then they will want to work with you. I also don't do things because the money for money. I I hate money. Like money, we live in a capitalistic society, so money is important, right? We have to survive. I have two beautiful children at home. I'm a single mom, so I get that. But the relationship that I have with money is that I want to help people, and if I can help people, that money will be there. And so just sticking to all those core values and making sure everything that I do follows that is also part of your brand. I will never probably ever work with a company that is like millions of dollars. Not that I'm selling myself short or anything like that. I could. but I probably won't because I would rather be helping somebody start their business or grow their business or be part of that process because that's where I'm at. I'm also a very blunt person. My friends call me blunt and bubbly, and I am an adult with a disability. I do have autism. Um, and, you know, I think when I've been talking to my therapist, we're going with ADHD, which is kind of a new thing, which is ADHD and autism together. And that's an important part of my brand too, showing people that what is possible. Like anything is possible if you don't put limits on yourself, right? So all of those parts and all of those pieces and all of that branding, it doesn't just kind of happen overnight. It's kind of just like living your life the way that you want to live it. And some people are like, well, what if I do want this or what? Then that's part of your brand. It's just not part of mine. I have clients that money is the reason why they do business. And that's okay. Just be transparent about it. Be authentic about it. Be blunt and bubbly about it. Make sure that you're showcasing that that is who you are. Because when people know who you are and you have that transparency, it is so much better and you get so many more clients.
Do you have a client who was able to use her authenticity to really gain her financial goals?
Oh, absolutely. I have this one client. She is amazing. And she is the kindest, most giving soul I've ever met in my life. And she owns a shop. And one of the biggest things that we struggle with is always comparing ourselves to everybody else around us, right? And she started to do that. And she's like, but I'm this and this. And I looked right at her and I said, okay. So then when we're going to brand you and we're going to do all those things, be who you are because that's why people will show up. So she wanted to be bigger than she was. She wanted to compare herself to all these other boutique owners that are way bigger than she is. And I'm like, but that's not who we are. We're the person who is local. We're the person who personalizes every experience that comes through the door. We're not looking to do, what is that, like Bye Bye Baby kind of like, we're not looking to have the same stuff as that store. We're looking to have the intimate things that they found this one time at this one location. Like it's very unique to them. And when she was comparing herself, she's like, this is how I wanted to, but she's like, you're right. And then when we did her branding and all of that, we remind everybody that like the stuff at her store is like one of a kind. And that brought so much success. And every time you walk into her storefront and every time you go in there, she's so happy. I'm telling you, when I walk in there, like, and I'm having a bad day, it's gone because she's just that kind of person. And so while she's in kind of a niche market, when we started branding her, building her website and expanding on everything, we made sure we stayed authentic to that vibe, not the vibe of being a bigger store or competing with Target, because that's not the goal of a small business, right? The goal of a small business is to provide smiles, unique items, like things like that. And when she started to kind of have that viewpoint, that's when she started to have success. Even if you don't own a business, even if you're just yourself, right? A lot of people want people to gravitate towards them. In order to do that, the easiest way is to be authentic because the right people will come your way and the wrong people will stay away. We get to where we're going. We do not have to be this super fast car that's super fancy, that has all the bells and whistles. We can be where we're at and still be successful. And I think there's a lot more power into building something like organically and growing slowly with your brand than, just automatically being a Ferrari. Because also, if you just see a Ferrari out in the middle of nowhere, I know that I keep saying that, but like it's the easiest visualization. If you see a Ferrari out in the middle of nowhere and it doesn't have anything around it or anything supporting it, that's actually kind of an uncanny feeling, or like it doesn't feel right. Whereas when you see somebody grow and you see that growth and you see that brand change over time and you see them become who they are and become this amazing company or become this amazing human being, it is so much more powerful than just already having like everything all at once.
I love what you said about attracting your own people, attracting your tribe, right? Because that's the point of what we're doing. We all want to grow our tribe. We want to be in contact with people who we like and who like us. And so if we're pretending to be somebody we're not, that's not going to get us there.
By fostering that kind of space or fostering my authenticity and allowing myself to be who I am, allows everybody else around me to be who they are as well. And then there's transparency there. There's a village there. There's a vibe there versus if I have this, I don't know, mask on, because I did used to do that. I used to think that I needed to act the way that everybody else wanted me to. And people pleasing is a very hard thing to get involved with. And when I stopped doing that, that's when I started to actually see success. So, truth be told, you have to do that. You have to be authentically you. That doesn't mean you have to throw all your dirty laundry out on the lawn, right? It's just people need to understand your brand transparency and your brand values and who you are.
So one of the things I love about you is that you do actually run two separate businesses. So you kind of embody the mom. Oh, three separate businesses. Okay. So you really embody the idea of a mom with multiple streams of income.
Yes.
So what kind of advice would you have for a mom who wanted to have multiple businesses, but keeping it authentic?
Breathe. I know that that's like the dumbest thing you probably ever heard a day in your life, but breathe. It is overwhelming. And as women, as moms, we can do anything. Genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that. Honestly, I believe anybody can do anything, but moms are just built a little bit different than most. And becoming a mom changed my mindset because I didn't just become a mom. I became this like superhero that's in charge of two little human beings that also is responsible. And then becoming a single mom was an even harder feat. And then becoming a single mom that owned three businesses was like another thing. It's like, why did I do this to myself? Authentically speaking, it is hard. It is not easy. And you're going to cry and you're going to feel like the world sucks, but you're also going to get so much rewards from it. And there are going to be times where you're going to want to give up and you're just going to be like, I am done. And it's okay to quit. It's okay to quit. It's okay. These are not my first three businesses. I have had two other ones. I wouldn't say that they failed. I either got bored or it just wasn't the right fit. You have to be able to adapt and you have to be able to understand that. And if this is something you're wanting, I want you to go into it with the perspective of it's okay to quit because there is an opportunity for me to be so successful and find something else. Because had I continued to try in those other businesses, I would not have been where I'm at today. The other aspect of it too is when you have that mindset that no matter what happens, everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. Do not open a business just because you think the money will be there. Open a business because it's something that you enjoy doing, that fulfills you, or that sticks to those values. And it's very hard to know who you are as a mom. I kept saying you have to know who you are and you have to know who you are. We lose our self-identity all the time in everything that we do. And learning to know who you are is hard. And loving yourself is hard. But you have to do that first before you can start creating those streams of income. Because the last thing you want to do is lose the most important currency of all, which is time. You cannot give back time, and you spend it every day. And as a mom, we know how quickly, in a blink of an eye, that time can happen. So, make sure you know who you are and what's worth it to you and what's not.
And
Yeah.
your free gift is a goal setting workbook. So can you tell us about it?
Every morning I wake up with gratitude, even on the hard days. And so I'm going to be gifting you guys a goal setting workbook. And the most important part about being successful in general is manifesting what you want. You can just not have a pot to pee in and still start manifesting your dreams and dreaming and setting goals no matter how small, no matter how large. And it is the most important part of everything that you do every day. And I am a little woohoo, and I think there's so much power in words, and writing things down is powerful. So this goal setting workbook not only helps you prepare for your day or your month or your year, however you want to use it, there's multiple different ways to use it. It will also help you have that right mindset to keep you on track. There's like fun quotes from people that I found really powerful and that help you get through that day. There's a little section for you to be creative if you like to draw or doodle. And then just like little checklists and stuff like that. And it just kind of keeps your mind right, and it keeps your mind focused on gratitude and what you're moving forward towards. Because goals are so important and they need to be at the forefront of your mind.
You also have a VIP gift. Can you tell us about that one?
So it's 30 minutes with me and my team. Basically, it's a strategy session. We'll do a mini audit on what's kind of going on what we can see with your brand. You know, you may have a solid brand and you may not want that, but after listening to me talk, branding may not be what you think it is. It's about how you're carrying yourself and where are you showing up. So the VIP members get a 30-minute strategy session with us where you get to talk with us for a little bit. We get to know you. We'll send you out a little questionnaire before the session. That way you can kind of have an understanding of what we're going to talk about, and then we can stay on task because I'm me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Money Matters for Moms. I hope today's episode left you inspired to take one little step forward. Check out the resources in the show notes and share this with another mom who's ready to thrive. You've got this, because abundance is easier than you might think.